Gina now helps others do the same through teaching a 1-month transformative lifestyle design program. She will be talking about how she quit a stable job to start her own lifestyle brand that empowers people to make life yours. So this is definitely one of one of the talks that I was looking forward to as well. So please welcome to the stage Gina Su.
Thank you so much, Jen. I believe this is the clicker here. How's everyone doing? Yeah? You have a good lunch? I know this is usually food coma, afternoon nap time, but I have something really important that I want to share with you today, something that actually changed my life. I don't expect to change your life in the next 18 minutes, but I hopefully expect to pique your interest and hope that you'll be sparked by what I share today. So, decisions. I believe that decisions are a blessing and a curse. And today I want to share with you an unconventional strategy to help you make better decisions. What do I mean by better? I mean decisions that are your own decisions, meaning that you make decisions in your own way, on your own time, on your own terms. Now, why do I think decisions are a blessing and a curse? Well, one, I think they're a blessing because if you truly think about it, isn't a decision an opportunity for you to decide who you are, help you define and identify yourself? Isn't a decision an opportunity to help you decide who you want to become? I want to go in this direction instead of that direction. And also, isn't a decision an opportunity for you to choose a situation, an opportunity, an environment that will help you feel totally inspired and motivated to move forward, right? A decision is actually a beautiful opportunity. Now, why do I also think a decision is a curse? Well, it's really important to us. We get to define our future. And if we think about what a decision looks like, there's one option, there's two options, sometimes there's multiple. And when we weigh out the pros and cons, a hard decision is hard because the benefits and the perks seem the same as the downfalls and the annoyances of multiple options, right? So what happens? Think about a decision right now. I promise every single one of you are trying to make an important decision for your life. Whether it's about your career, whether about the major you're studying right now in school, whether or not you want to ask someone out on a date, or leave a relationship, or even a hobby that you want to pursue, or even turn into a career. Think about that decision, right? When it gets to that point where it's very difficult, what do we usually do? It feels and it looks like this. You ask your friends, they have their opinion. You ask your parents, mom says this, dad says that. You ask your coworkers, you ask professionals. I'm not saying that this is not smart, but when we gather too many opinions from too many outside sources, this is when we begin to feel like the place we're at now, we didn't choose for ourselves. Can you guys think of a moment in your life and you're working away and life has sort of carved this path for you and you all of a sudden you look up and you think, why am I here? Did I even choose any of this for myself? A lot of times this happens when people are unsatisfied with their jobs, they're in a relationship they're not happy about, they can't figure out what they want to do in the future. So today I want to share with you a very unconventional strategy to help you make decisions better. That is this. This symbol is the symbol of being sparked. And I promise every single one of you knows what it feels like to be sparked. Can you think of a time where you were just totally excited and enthusiastic about something and you just went for it, you did it? That happens to us all the time. In that moment, you were sparked. Can you think about a time where you were totally self-motivated? You're like, I want that, I'm going to get that, and then you do it? A small example that I like to bring up is, you know when you have those food cravings, you're like, tonight I just really want Mexican food, and your friends are like, no, I want Italian. You're like, nope, I'm going to go down to that taco shop, I'm going to get myself some tacos, eat them, I'm going to have Mexican food. That is a tiny moment of what it feels like to be sparked. And lastly, my most favorite one, which is kind of mystical, is it just feels right. Have you ever done something where you really don't think too much about other people's opinions, but it just worked out for you? You know, sometimes when you tell people, go with your gut, follow your heart, listen to your intuition, that is the state of being sparked. So when you're in a difficult decision-making process like this, you don't want to feel pulled in all sorts of directions, right? We want to be logical about bringing in the opinions that we care about from the people we care about, but we also don't want to feel like we're pushed from behind to choose one option over the other. So this is when we need sparked, right? You want to feel totally enthusiastic and excited. You want to feel self-motivated and step into that decision on your own. And then, of course, that magical thing, it just has to feel right. So, sparked in definition, or my definition, is you are fully and completely inspired by your own life. Now, how does this work? I'm going to tell you exactly how you can unconventionally practice making decisions to help you be inspired by your own life. First, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm a life coach. How many people know what a life coach does? All right, that's great. That's about half. So there are some misconceptions with life coaching. In the very basics, life coaching is that I work with a client one-on-one, and we have conversations that are about 45 minutes to 1 hour, and I help them get to what they want. I help them achieve their goal and their dream. Not their friends' dreams, not their parents' dreams, their dream. So the one misconception about life coaches is that we give people advice. If you think about it this way, if someone's met with a decision and I tell them what I think they should do, that's not better decision making. And the second misconception about life coaching is people think if someone hires a life coach, they must be totally dysfunctional, incompetent, can't figure out their own lives, and then they need help from others. But when you're in a decision and you feel really stuck, don't you sometimes feel dysfunctional? I know sometimes when I'm met with a super important decision, I feel almost like paralyzed and incompetent. So another thing that my work draws on is a field called positive psychology, which I love. How many of you have heard of positive psychology? Great. So positive psychology, I encourage you to look into it because it's a beautiful new science. So a little bit about it. Clinical psychology is a type of psychology we've had for many years. In fact, that was the norm. It was only just clinical psychology. Clinical psychology is a study of people with mental illnesses, mental disorders, personality disorders, and most often have dysfunctional relationships. Positive psychology was founded by a man called Martin Seligman, and I'm so grateful for his work. Because he stepped into the picture and he says, if this is science, this is totally skewed. We're only looking at one side of the equation. So, in positive psychology, this is the study of people who are experiencing longer terms of happiness. They have meaning and purpose in their work. They most often have positive relationships, and they know how to use their talent, and they feel like they're flourishing and they're thriving. Isn't that interesting? So these are graphs that I have put together in terms of how I look and work with my clients. So this is a graph of an average person, let's say, and these are the events and emotions that happen, because this is what life does to us, right? It takes us on these peaks and valleys, ups and downs. So let's say this person, you know, they lost their job there, that's the dip. They see their friend the next day who comforts them, makes them feel better. They finally muster up the energy to go to a yoga class and they feel good, and so on and so forth. This is what I try to do with my clients. I try to remind them of who they are, why they're so talented and so smart, what they're able to achieve, and help them have more peaks than valleys. Have you ever looked at a friend and they feel super insecure and they don't know what to do? And you're looking them straight in the eye and you're like, you're incredible. You can absolutely do this. It's the same type of work here. So if someone can have more peaks than valleys, this is where I came to think of the idea of sparked. Why can't we have this? Why can't we have higher peaks that last longer, just like in positive psychology, where more people have longer lasting moments of happiness, of flourishing, of thriving, and of course life will always give us our valleys, but they're shorter. How can this be possible? That is where sparked comes in. When you know yourself, when you're excited about something, when it just feels right, that self-motivation can take you a lot further than constantly asking yourself, asking other people, right? Here's the magic. If you don't remember anything else I say today, I hope you remember this. Being sparked is not a magical phenomenon. Someone said this quote to me, and I loved it because it's always stuck with me. It says, losers wait for motivation, and winners just get shit done. So if we can create sparked, then all we need once we get to the top is determination, motivation, and perseverance. And knowing this crowd, if you guys came to a full day-long event to learn about self-development and to be inspired, I'm sure that's not going to be difficult for you. I spoke with a life coach once, and he did an experiment on me that really changed the way I thought about things, and I want to share that with you today. So he said, Gina, what type of work do you do? And I said, well, I'm a life coach. And he said, what's the impact you want to make on the world? Like, what's your vision? And I said, well, I really want to help people make inspired decisions. I want people to choose for themselves, create their own life, carve out their own path. And he's like, oh, that's super great. What a cool vision you have. Do you want to be the top 3%? And he had this kind of dark look on his face. And I said, yeah, I really hope that I can be the top 3% in this space. And he's like, do you know what that means? And he had an even more worried look on his face. And I said, tell me, what does that mean? He says, that means 97% of the people you talk to won't get you. That means 97% of your friends won't get you, 97% of your family won't get you, 97% of the strangers you talk to won't get you. I felt a little lonely for a second, and I really hope that more than 3% of you guys are understanding what I'm saying up here. I don't think everyone wants to be the top 3% of their field or their industry, but I do think that everyone wants to be the top 3% of who they are. You want to be the top 3% of knowing that you're really putting out your talent in the world. You want to be the top 3% of knowing that you're taking care of your body and you're working on your health and wellness, right? We want to be the top 3% of ourselves, better than we were yesterday. So how do you get sparked? How do you manufacture sparked? It's not because we can't make decisions. It's because we don't make decisions often enough. We are out of practice. So to practice being sparked, I'm going to go through this quickly, is that you have to design your life. And come with me on this journey because it's a little bit playful. When you design your life, you have to design you, your lifestyle, and your environment. We've made hundreds and thousands of choices that now have gone unnoticed. I want you to go back to the beginning, blank canvas, we're deciding all over again. When you design you, there's two things. You need to know your desire. What's your vision? What do you want to do? What's the impact you want to put into the world? And the second thing we've heard a lot about is core values. I do an exercise with my clients because there are hundreds of core value words, respect, integrity, education, creativity, spontaneity, comfort, abundance, relaxation. Core values, I make my clients choose 3 to 6 words. Because if you are attached to 20 to 100 other words, of course you can't make a decision that's true to you, right? If we have conflicting core values, which usually happens when we can't make a decision, there's this push and pull feeling, this tug of war. Then we start to feel frayed and we start to feel fragile. So when you design you, know what your vision is and know who you are based on core values. Now, design your lifestyle. I love this because I used to work in health and wellness. What time do you enjoy going to bed? Are you going to bed at that time? What time do you enjoy waking up? Does your pillow just make you feel so good that you just want to relax and have the best dream ever? Are you consciously making those tiny decisions in your life? What about exercise? Do you like to do it by yourself? With friends? Indoors in a gym? Outdoors? What is your preference? This is your life. You get to choose. What about your work environment? I had a client who was constantly annoyed from sitting all day at work, and by the time lunchtime came around, which was 1 that was served at her office, she was starving and she hated it. Well, can you think about making the decision to ask for a standing desk, build your own standing desk? Can you bring your favorite snack to work and have that around 11:30 so by 1 you're not starving? Tiny decisions in your life. What about the friends you choose? Do every single one of them fill up your time in the way you want them to? Do they remind you of who you truly are, where you want to go, and what inspires and motivates you? So the last thing, which is the most fun, which is probably the most unconventional of the 3, is designing your environment. What does that mean? Everything has energy. When our eyes look at things, we have preferences. You like blue more than pink. You like round lines more than curved lines. That's why some people like modern architecture and interior design, whereas other people like old floral curtains. It makes a difference. It makes you feel different. So when you think about the things that you own, every piece of item that you have in your house, that you're wearing on your body today, does that inspire you? Now, when I bring this up, a lot of things that happen is, well, Gina, are you talking about materialism here? This is what I suggest. Wake up. We live in a material world. So if you're going to have things that inspire you. Clutter is the #1 thing that brings us down visually. You know that saying, when you have a cluttered environment, you have a cluttered mind? It's absolutely true. Maybe start by cleaning up your home space or your workspace. What's your style? What do you want your desk to look like, right? You get to choose. Make these decisions. Practice making these decisions. What about your hobbies? You like riding your motorcycle? Don't park it in the garage where it's getting rusty and has cobwebs all over it. By all means, if it inspires you to park it in your living room, I dare you to do so. I teach a lifestyle design makeover course where my clients come to me, we start from the beginning. The #1 thing I tell them to do is to change the screensaver on their phone or the computer. Pick an image that excites you. So the 3 things: design you, design your lifestyle, design your environment. So what will you choose? All the tiny decisions that you can practice making for you, how will you choose them? The next time you find yourself here in a difficult decision, I hope you don't feel dysfunctional, incompetent, frayed, pulled in multiple different directions. Because I hope that you have already practiced how to design your lifestyle and make tiny choices that are for you, are for your 3%. So the next time you're here, I hope that instead you feel sparked. Thank you so much.